What's up? This is Brad with Be Real. You know, I was getting ready for this podcast, and by the way, today the podcast is overconfidence, and I was thinking about leading up until this point, and it reminded me of a story. In my previous career, I would probably do like 45 sales meetings a year. Almost every weekend I was doing sales meetings, and people that were with me for a period of time, they sat in all those meetings. And after a while, this sales associate had been with me for a while, and he's like, dude, he goes, I've been here a while, and you never do the same meeting subject ever. And I go, well, let me tell you how that kind of works. I go, what I do is I kind of just do an inventory of my life, and I kind of think what's going on in my life, and I kind of think, what issues am I dealing with in my life, and then I kind of come up with a meeting or, how I could get better or how it could get better, and I just share it with people because I figure if it's an issue in my life, they're probably having issues too, and I'll never forget that sales associate goes, dude, you got a lot of issues, and I was like, you're right. I didn't think of that, but yeah, I got a lot of issues. So this is another one of those podcasts on confidence, and everybody struggles with it. It's a battle. Confidence is like happiness; it's not guaranteed to you. It's something you got to work at. If you want to be happy, you have to work at being happy. If you want to be a confident person, you have to work at being a confident person because, like we talked about before, most of the time there are exterior sources that are pushing you towards mediocrity. They're pushing you towards complacency. They're pushing you towards negativity. They're pushing you towards being less than confident or incompetent of yourself, So it's a battle. And so what is it that you do and how do you do it? And I want to just say, first of all, that confidence is not, people are not born that way. It's not a DNA thing. I have good friends that parents are both extremely introvert people, and these people are just extremely extrovert, extremely confident people. So it's not a DNA thing. It's not a stature thing. It's not a size thing. It's not a birthright. It's not where you came from. It has. I'm telling you, it's literally a choice. And I want to talk about that a little bit with you all. And part of confidence comes, I'm going to be transparent again. Part of confidence comes from being prepared. And the more prepared you are, the more confident you are. And I'll give you an example. Like I have a tendency of, previously, not that long ago, I have a tendency of always running late. And always, being late. Well, I caught it. One, I get to wherever I'm going and I'm kind of discombobulated. And two, I realized I'm anxious and I'm not as confident in what I'm going to discuss. It takes me a little while to get composure and all that. But so the more prepared I am and the more mentally prepared I am and the better notes I have, the better off I come and the more confident I am going into the meeting, then I have less surprises because in my mind, I have created these scenarios that might come up in these situations. And then once I create those scenarios in my head, then I'm like, okay, how do I overcome that objection? How do I overcome this? So being prepared is a huge deal. And when you are prepared, when you do it thousands and thousands of times, in your head or in simulation or, role playing or whatever it is, then when it comes to live fire or real life, it's a piece of cake. It's nothing. And it gets down to, and people think this is sometimes would be weird. I'm not a big person about, like standing in front of a mirror and talking to myself, but I do firmly believe, and this podcast and Cash and my wife have been extremely helpful with me in this, is I strongly recommend that if you are going into a meeting or you have to communicate with somebody, or you should record yourself. And I know it seems weird at first, But if you do that, you'll notice certain things that you do, certain mannerisms that you have, and you're able to smooth those out. And it's basically role playing. And the more you role play, especially if you could do it sitting in a room by yourself into your phone, you're probably going to do well one-on-one with a human being in that place the next day. And then one other little trick. Turn the volume off and replay the video, because if you're supposed to be excited and happy, and that's the message you're delivering, and your facial expressions and physical expressions and body language is something completely different, then you need to adjust those. So, preparation, a large part of confidence. There again, like I said, if somebody said, Brad, step out in the hallway and bring me a handful of happiness, you can't do it. Brad, go out in the hallway and grab me a handful of confidence. You can't do it. It is a mental state, and it is a mental state that you have acquired by mental warfare and taking mental reps and preparing yourself for that situation when it comes to that. There's a couple of things that I was doing a little research on, because I too, and everybody goes, well, why would you be doing a podcast on confidence? You have an amazing family, you have amazing kids, you got amazing friends, you got an amazing job. It don't matter who you are. That happiness and confidence is not guaranteed. It is something that you have to work at. And one of the big things that as I was thinking about this leading up to this podcast, was one of the quickest way to start gaining confidence is honoring your commitments, and especially to yourself. So if you make a list at night of what you're going to do tomorrow, and it could be the simplest things, and you should start with the simplest things, and you should start with things you can achieve, achievable goals. But if you have that little to-do list on your counter, dang it, do it. And I know, like, it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, if you'll just do it, even like I put those notes in my phone at night. Sometimes I move the notes to the next day, but you know what? When I have a note in my phone that says, Brad, you need to do this today, and I go, I didn't get to it, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, you really know what I'm telling you? Last night when I put it in my phone, it was important. Now today I'm saying it's not as important, and it really is still as important. I'm just procrastinating. Well, when I move that in my phone, I have a tendency that it gives me anxiety, or it does deteriorate my confidence just a little bit. So make sure that you're honoring commitments. Make sure if you've committed and said you're going to do something with your significant other, then honor it, because to them it means the world also. You got to remember at the same time, you're not doing this just for you. The confidence comes from externally. And as you honor those things, even those little things, even remembering to text somebody on their birthday, whatever the heck it is, but honor your commitments to yourself and to other people. And as you do that more regularly, you feel better about yourself. You gain more. You can gain more confidence. I've talked about this several times. For some reason, it has a tendency coming up in podcasts, and that is cultivating positive relationships, being around positive people. The level of your happiness, the level of your success is totally contingent on the strength of your relationships. But you got to make sure you're around successful, positive people. I've had an opportunity to be in management and to observe large groups of people, and I'll just be real with you. The extremely successful people ain't hanging out in large groups with the pity party people. The pity party people always seem to hang out in an area themselves because they feed each other. And then the successful people have a tendency of gravitating towards each other. So these people continue to gain momentum while the pity party people kind of blame other people and all that. So it is extremely important to cultivate positive connections. Don't go it alone. There's strength in numbers, 3 stronger than 1, all those things that you've ever heard. It is factual. Nurture your well-being. Do whatever. Confidence will come when you feel healthy. Confidence will come when you feel more rested. I'm one of those people that late in the day, my confidence tends to deteriorate because I get a little tired. I get a little overwhelmed. I get too far out over my skis is what I call it. And I start worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. So your well-being and making sure, look, if you have people that are depending on you, whether that's a significant other, kids, teammates, employees, whatever it is, if you have people depending on you, that means you are the most important part of that organization, and you're that most important part to yourself to make sure that you have great well-being, doctors regularly, all those other things. Also, another thing, honoring commitments. Pick a couple things, and I've gone through divorce, and it's been a struggle, and I caught myself doing this. I would do the dishes, just randomly do the dishes. And I would wash 3 pieces of clothes. And what I realized I was doing was the reason I was doing that was not because I was obsessed about clothes, not because I was obsessed about the dishes. It was something I knew I could do. I knew I could achieve it. And when I got it achieved, I felt better about it. So having those small layups or those small winning goals, don't add everything to your list. It's going to be an overwhelming, daunting task to accomplish today or tomorrow. Add some stuff in there. 1, you like to do. 2, you can do. Make sure, too, somebody else told me that one time. You know what, man, damn it, make sure you have fun every day. Because the reason I say that is you're going to look up, and at some point in time, I don't give a crap who you are, you're going to get to the end of life, and you're going to say, no matter what, you're going to get to the end of 2025, and you're going to wish, man, wish I slowed down and had a little more fun. So nurturing and making sure that you're taking care of yourself, making sure that you're having daily wins. And then I'm saving this for last, and then we'll kind of wrap this deal up. We've talked about this before. And I've kind of been sucked into this deal also in the last month or so, is that positive and negative talk. That when you keep rewinding over and over, I'm working X amount of hours, it doesn't seem like I'm getting anything done, this isn't what I thought I was going to be, I'm making X amount of dollars. Also I found that confidence kind of gets eroded when all you're doing is thinking about yourself. And when you flip that around to first of all, start saying things, I got everything it takes, I'm going to make it, I got a lot of positive people around me, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, I have every tool I need to accomplish what I was sent here to accomplish. That's the type of dialogue you have to keep, and you have to force that. I know it sounds weird, but I've talked about that before. The human mind has an internal dialogue of anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 words a minute. So nobody will talk to you more in a day than you do yourself. So you say, well, I spent a little bit of time around that person and they just ruined my day. No, because you spent 10 or 12 hours with yourself speaking 2,500 words a minute to you. You can control the outcome of your day. This is not one of those deals I'm on this ivory tower where I'm in this amazing place talking down to you that you need to do like me. I'm in the trenches right there along with you. And I have found that the days that I become overwhelmed or the days that I become over anxious, I think back to my internal dialogue, and it was not good. Not long ago I had a crappy week, and I was kind of reflecting on it, praying about it. I was like, God, man, what do I do next week? And, like I said, I've never heard an audible word in my life from him, but he was like, don't do one thing that you did last week. He's like, if you want to have a better week next week, then don't do any of that crap you did this week. Because obviously what you did this week, you did not get to the end of the week and have fulfillment. So do a whole bunch of stuff different. If it's not bearing fruit and it's not bringing happiness and it's not building your confidence, then why would you keep doing it? So the internal dialogue is extremely important. And as I was researching this, here's the crazy part. I had to do a little chat GPT, had to Google a little bit. Don't think I came up with this all myself. But I just asked, I said, out of Americans, how much of that internal dialogue is positive? What percentage on average is positive? And what percentage of it is negative? I was shocked. Everything that I did said anywhere from 65 to 70% of our internal dialogue is negative. But I'm kind of, once I read it, I was like, well, it's 4 times easier to remember. You have a tendency of remembering failure 4 times longer than you do success. Why is that? Because you keep replaying over and over and over again your failures. And so, but to think that we have this gift, and I'm gonna get in a little bit deeper here, just kind of hit me in my perception, and this is Brad's opinion. I don't know that too many animals on Earth, one, have an imagination. Not don't know, don't care, but I don't think God has sent very many animals to this earth with an imagination. Nor do I think very many animals have the ability to recall the past. And in my opinion, I don't think that we were given this amazing gift of our memory to rewind our past of all the bad crap that happened in our lives and play that over and over again, and then go out ahead of us and imagine bad crap happened to us again. I believe that was a gift given to us so that we go out ahead of what we're about to see and envision positive things happen, and envisioning happiness, envisioning confidence, envisioning overcoming obstacles and objections. And I also believe that we were given this ability to reflect on our past as a gift, not to beat ourselves up, but to replay these blessings and replay these great things. So that internal dialogue, to think that we have all this time that we're going to end up, I don't care how busy you are, I don't care how many family members you have, I don't care, though, to think we're going to spend that much time by ourselves, to think that we're going to waste that time by ourselves with 70% negativity it's horrific, guys. And I'll tell you, now there again, this is not, I'm talking, I've been in this place. I literally had to get to a point where when I caught myself in these spots, I literally would have to get to the point if I had a thought, I literally would pause for a second and go, okay, is that the truth? No. Because most of the negative internal dialogue that we're saying to ourselves is a lie. And we all have that person in our lives that 90% of the time they open their mouth, they ain't telling the truth. And so we have a tendency of entertaining those people, being somewhat nice to those people, but as soon as they open their mouth, we ain't listening. Why? Because normally what they're saying is not the truth. So if we already know that the negative things that we're saying to ourselves are not the truth, why would we listen to them? So what we need to force ourselves into, so after I have those seconds and I pause, I go, okay, that's not the truth. Okay, what is the truth? What is the truth is I am going to overcome. What is the truth is I'm not alone. What is the truth is I do have hope. What is the truth? I have a bunch of people around me that want to help me to succeed. That's what the truth is. And so that's extremely important. There's 3 things that, obviously the first one's a super easy one. There's 3 things. I gave you 5 things to do to help yourself to be more confident. Here's 3 things that, under no certain terms, stop. Stop the negative self-talk. Whatever, it's a habit, and I'm speaking from personal experience. Negative self-talk can start to become a habit, and it can become addictive. And so it is something that it is just like anything else. You're going to have to work at this 30, 45 days to catch yourself and get yourself to stop doing it. But one, that's the quickest way to help your confidence is to stop the negative self-talk. Stop comparing yourselves to others. Everybody has people in their lives that have amazing gifts and they have amazing tools, and we don't have them. But you know what? We weren't supposed to have them. because we were sent to this earth to do something, probably something that person wasn't supposed to do. And the crazy part about us comparing ourselves to other people is we're sitting there comparing ourselves to this person, wishing we had this gift or wishing we had this or that or whatever. At the same time, they're looking, going, dang, I wish I had what Brad had. You see what I'm saying? So don't compare yourselves to other people. Yes, try to improve. Yes, try to stay within your scope and realm of what you're able to do. But do not compare yourself to other people, and that's a terrible thing about social media. Is that's where some of the anxiety and depression comes from. Is they're showing all this glamorous, fictitious AI type stuff out there, but it's not reality. So don't compare yourself. Be happy for them. Be happy for them. Celebrate them. Give them a text message if they posted something cool, whatever you want to do. But don't compare yourselves to them in a negative way. Then the other thing, which is another one big thing of mine, is do not fear failure. The hardest thing, the worst part of leading up to a situation or leading up to a certain situation is the leading up to the difficult situation is far worse than actually engaging it. And I had another friend tell me, what you want to do is push through that first wall and kind of get in the storm or the eye of that situation and then move at the pace the storm's going. So, because if you fall back, you get beat up. If you try to go too fast, you get beat up. So stay within the eye and move at the cadence of the situation. So, guys, go into situations and be more prepared. Go into situations and accomplish certain daily tasks. Do what you're committed yourself to doing. Remember, 70% of, if we don't watch it, 70%, on an average, 70% of Americans have negative internal dialogue. That's the quickest way to fix it. And I'm telling you, to fantasize and to push yourself into areas that is causing you that you believe might be a potential outcome is I know it seems weird, but it's the only way to do it. Because here's what really comes down to. Really, your brain is just a computer, and your body is programmed to follow this computer. So if you are talking to the computer saying, I'm never going to make it, I'm always going to struggle, I'm always going to fail, your mind cannot discern between that. It feels like that's what you're asking it to do. So what you need to do is you need to ask it, look, I need to get through this deal. I need to figure out how this deal works. I'm going to make it. I got great people around me. I'm going to try something tomorrow. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try this. Anything, I'm going to tomorrow do a couple small things, go for a walk, go work out, eat healthy, whatever it is. Simple things I know I can achieve, and do those things and slowly, then you'll gain your confidence back. And then, guys, the biggest thing, and it's been one of the biggest blessings to me, and I guess I think I realize that more and more as time goes on, is make sure that you're cultivating and gathering and putting positive people around you. That is so important but the thing about it too, you're going to be shocked that by intentionally doing something like this, a lot of times you're pulling positive people around you too. Guess what? They need positive people too. It has been crazy on how many people that I have intentionally kind of reached out to because I thought, God kind of laid these people on my heart. I'm just going to randomly text them. And out of nowhere, they're like, dude, I was having the worst day. I'm so thankful you text me. And then after 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with them, I hang up and I go, damn, I'm in a good mood because I took time to lift others up. I was lifted too, So anyway, I hope this helps, guys. Confidence is obtainable. Confidence is doable, but confidence is something just like every other amazing thing in your life. It's probably going to take some work. Go have a great day and be real.